because you can see it across the map. You know, there's so many different things to do with that one thing. But yeah, for the most part, I feel like the game's balanced and it'll run fine.
I just think they need to tone down the footsteps a bit.
Oh, 100%, yep.
And dramatically decrease the footstep sound of your teammates.
Yep. Agree. I noticed that a lot, that actually if you go back and you play Call of Duty 4, even on, because I used to play it on PC as well, but you will almost never, ever see a kill cam where somebody obviously turns around because they've heard your footsteps. It's purely a new phenomenon in newer CODs. I don't know how far back. It might have been in Black Ops 2, but I definitely don't remember it being as intense as it is. But yeah, there's definitely an increased footstep volume since I don't know when, but it's annoying. It doesn't belong in a game like Call of Duty where it's literally split second decisions, and so it forces people to stand still. Because if you're moving, you're making sound, and that's weakness. So it forces people to sit still, sound whore, and wait until they hear something so they can move on that. If you take away that footstep element of the game, there will be far fewer campers because they won't have that advantage.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. Like, they definitely do need to fix up. They do need to tweak a lot of little and minor things, and I think it's things that should have been done from day one. But I mean, it is just the game and the new technologies, and there's a lot of things that in development that we don't know about. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that one.
No, I understand what you're saying though, because like, even though we could say it's a bad thing, at least we know that it's been tried. Yeah. And, you know, it's something that's been attempted, because I'd rather them go out on a limb and try something new than them do what they've done for the past little while. I think I was talking to you guys earlier that, like, there's nothing new with Call of Duty. This game's been the same for the best part of 10 years, and the last good thing that they implemented was, other than this gunsmith system, was pro perks. Like, legitimately, what else has there been other than pro perks? Nothing. There hasn't been anything. And that came out back in, like, what, 2010? 2011? Yeah. It's been too long. Where's the innovation for this game? How are we going to take it, you know, into the future if this game just, it doesn't innovate, it doesn't do anything new?
What are your thoughts, AJ? You've been a bit quiet there.
I don't know. I just think they need to take a break like Battlefield did.
Like, take a break from making Call of Duties?
Yeah, just
take a break from releasing. I feel like if they took an extra year to polish off a game, that might bring a significant portion of the players back. That's what AJ was telling me a few days ago, actually.
Yeah, because the reason Battlefield is not making a game is because even they realised that Battlefield 5 was just a complete flop. I mean, you still get those hardcore Battlefield players that will play it, but other than that, it was just bad. And Battlefield 1, the service was so laggy, multiplayer was just unplayable for me. I don't know about anyone else, but
every game. Oh, keep going.
The only reason Battlefield is taking a break is because they're working on the next gen. So the question is, of course, there's no Battlefield competition this year. What's COD going to do? Because they piggyback off other like big events like Battlefield or last year Anthem. Yeah, there's another prime example. Anthem, that just became a complete flop. Ghost Recon Wildlands, complete flop. So these AAA companies need to start rethinking what they're doing, because it's the indie games that's rising at the moment. The games you haven't even heard of.
That's actually a good thing. But with Anthem and Ghost Recon and all that, have you noticed how they've got such a hype up? Like, their trailers are phenomenal, and people up the game so much, and then when it comes out, it doesn't live up to their expectations. I think they need to focus more on the game itself and not promoting it as hard, and not bringing up that, trying to make the trailers look all this and that. Like, I know they're doing it to sell, but they're losing some shit from doing that. Like, they're focusing on other.
Unfortunately, people don't buy or vote or think with their brains these days, unfortunately. As for the most parts of human history, like we see something that looks good, it looks stimulating, we go, oh, look at all the new graphics, look at like what they're saying. They're saying it's going to do this and it's going to be this. Truth is that video game companies are just like any other company at the moment in the world. Everyone's trying to maximize their profits via cost cutting on their operational costs. And so they're trying to operate at a bare minimum while creating an absolute maximum with their product. And it's just destroying industry everywhere. Food, construction, movies you're even seeing now. They're trying to cut back on costs and stuff like that. It's happened with video games, and it has been happening for a while, and we're seeing the result of that with stuff like Battlefield and Black Ops and, all these other games that they just come out and they're not finished,
Yeah. Well, I mean, like...
What was even the question of... I completely forgot.
What question?
You asked me a question, and I answered it, but I forgot what the question was.
Well, I don't know. One thing I think we should do more is, now that I'm getting into this streaming and stuff, I think we should do maybe once a week. We just, either you or me, AJ, or whenever anyone's on, we'll just have like a solid hour or so of just where we just talk about what things can do. Because like, even though I'm not a big channel or nothing, you don't know with net like today with the fucking how many people are clicking on what they, I reckon it'll be good for our voices to be heard in this type of shit.
Yeah.
Because who knows, maybe one person might watch this and, they know someone who knows someone, and then, yeah. Very rare, but, like, it could happen. But, no, I think this game has a lot more to offer. I think people are, including myself, are slacking it off for its little flaws. I'm letting all the little things kind of determine my opinion of it and how I see the game. But I mean, that's what we do with most things, isn't it? We let the little things overrule the big things.
Yeah.
So, have you got anything you guys want to add, or anything you guys want to talk about while we're here? It could be about this game, could be about this game, could be about any other game, just games in general.
No, not that I can think of.
Well, for a second, we'll talk about up and coming games, and I know for a fact that I was waiting for Dying Light 2 to come out. Has anyone heard any news on that, or?
Nah.
That's delayed indefinite.
That's a shame. Any games you guys looking to coming out or looking forward to?
Doom Eternal.
Why's that?
Doom Eternal.
Straight into it. But why is that though? Like, what about the game? Do you like?
I just really enjoy the blood and gore.
Very, 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 very straightforward there. But, no, that's all right. Yeah. So just is the game itself got a good storyline to it, or?
Yeah, it's got a pretty good storyline to it.
What about you, Trav? Have you got any games that you're looking at, or anything in general that you're looking at that's coming out this year?
I mean, not really at the moment. I've kind of been looking at Cyberpunk, but even then, I don't know if I have the time with uni coming back up and everything. So, if I was going to get something, it would be definitely Cyberpunk, because the pushback for that, especially, has been so long. That surely it's going to be perfect when it comes out. Surely.
Nothing's ever perfect, though. Nothing is ever perfect.
I mean, you don't know. It might be the perfect 10 out of 10.
It could be. It could be. And I'm dead again. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there are.
Bloodborne got a 9 out of 10 by IGN.
Jesus.
I wouldn't listen to IGN, though.
IGN give everything. They overscore everything. To be honest.
Yeah.
Nah, but even like really picky people those picky voters, whatever you call them. They even gave Bloodborne, what was it, 9.
God.
Yeah, I just don't listen to critics, to be honest, anymore at all. I
I
don't think
try
there's a
not to
point.
listen to them. Like, I don't let them
Yeah,
influence my opinion on the game. I like to play the game first,
yeah,
or whatever, even
yeah,
movies. You know, I like to watch the movie first and
yeah,
see for
exactly.
myself. But they do play a part, I guess. Um,
Absolutely. Gosh.
but yeah, like I know okay, package. I know some games and shit are coming out. Like I was really looking to Dead Island. There was a new Dead Island game being made. Um,
Yeah, it's been like that for the past 3 or 4 years.
yeah, and I was actually looking because I love the Dead Island series. Like I loved because I'm a big fan of zombies. Like I love the whole zombie apocalypse and apocalyptic themes and shit like that. I really like them type of games.
Yeah.
And I think people need to make a bit more of them because you know instead of playing a shoot 'em up game like this, team based and stuff, you can make a very big open world like GTA. Make a GTA type game, open world, but like full of zombie apocalypse, and every decision you make has it impacts the environment around you. Like I reckon that'd be really cool. What would be your ideal game? Like what would be the best game in your opinion? What would make the best game?
Crikey. AJ, I'm going to let you go first on that one.
Oh, gee, thanks, Travis, because I have no fucking idea myself.
Yeah,
No,
no
but
worries.
honestly, like if you got given a chance to make the perfect game, what would that perfect game entail? Or what would you include in that game to make it the perfect game?
To be
I've
honest,
kind of come big here with the
I
questions,
have,
eh?
I have no idea.
Alright, well, I do actually have a kind of idea. One thing that always frustrated me was that Call of Duty Zombies didn't get as much of a budget as the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And it was always painful to see it not fleshed out as much. I especially didn't like the Black Ops 4 zombies. I felt like they really let it down. And even Black Ops 3 zombies that I had a lot of issues with. I would have really liked to have seen sort of a Black Ops 1 style zombies, but a lot more mechanics added to it, a lot more perks, um, tons more maps, just stuff like that. You know, 6 people, 8 people maps,
So
fleshing
like
it out a lot, that sort
dedicate
of
the
stuff.
COD to the zombies, pretty much. Like dedicate
Yeah,
have a COD
yeah.
dedicated to zombies.
Maybe not a campaign, because Zombies was never about a campaign, so that could probably ruin it, but yeah,
Yeah, zombies was
more
more
zombies.
the survival.
Yeah, the
Um,
survival aspect of it was what really drew
well,
people.
I'll tell you what's actually not that bad of a game. It's the
But,
it goes off the Sniper Elite Zombie Army, the Zombie Army trilogy. It's like
yeah,
it's a fun, wacky type of zombie game that you play. It's like Sniper Elite. It's got all the mechanics, the 3D bullets, the slow motion, um, all that, the bullet following, all that type of shit. It's got all them in it, but it's just zombies. So it's a really fun game. I've played one of the series on it, but I couldn't get into it as much as I'd like to. Um, but
I mean, it
over,
does sound fun and it looks fun, but again, it's just I don't know. Maybe I should look into it. It sounds fun, and I did enjoy Sniper Elite, so
yeah, it was.
may as well give it a squiz.
AJ, what were your
Do you
thoughts
play
on
it?
this? I mean, I haven't got it. I wish I did. Um, but um, I've still got Sniper Elite, but I haven't got the zombie version. No, AJ, what were your thoughts on Sniper Elite?
Uh, I didn't really play them. I played a little bit at a mate's place, but that's about it. It was actually pretty good for what I played.
Yeah, well, when Trav and I played, it was pretty fun. It was a good experience.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Except it was so depressing to get to the end of that and go like, where's the content? Where's the extra weapons, you know?
Yeah.
That was so depressing to have to deal with. Because it was such a great game and it was clear they just didn't have any money to, do anything else with it. But,
I mean, I do like the whole World War type of shit. I'm a big fan of the war
yeah.
and stuff. Having family members served in the war and shit. I, you know, I find it very interesting. And to have a game like that where you can um, become a sniper, and it's not. I mean, it's not. It's a game. It's not going to be 110% smack bang with realism, but it gives you a bit of a sense of what the snipers had to do if you wanted to take the game
Yeah.
in a stealthy manner. All right. Well, does anyone want to add anything else?
Um. Well, we're losing
Just
quite badly.
Hey AJ,
JC
look to your
Cotton.
left. Look to your left, real quick.
Yeah.
Down on the floor. Can you see me at all?
Nah.
I'm stuck on something.
Well,
So is no one's got anything else to add if they had to add anything else here.
um,
Nah.
give me a sec. Actually, I've got to fix my volume. I don't know what it is, but the game's so loud. I was struggling to.
Jesus Christ, we got fucking molested.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
that game.
Zoko Boneyard actually is not a great map. Actually, that's something we could talk about. The balance of maps.
Yes. Okay. Now that we're on the top balance of maps, you started off.
So, for example, Zucco Boneyard is always unbalanced. Always. There isn't a single time where it's unbalanced. Well, because one team will obviously have a few better players, and they will just camp out the flag near spawn, and then they'll slowly capture all the other flags, and then it just becomes a spawn camp fest. It rarely is anything other than that. I do have to say, when it's not that, it's quite fun, but it is quite a campy map.
Yeah.
And that's it's quite polarizing because it's different to the other maps. I feel like a lot of the other maps don't result in spawn camping a lot of the time. And then your palace, the farmland doesn't really become too spawn campy too often. You know, but Zokov, just for some reason, I don't know what it is with the design. It's probably just the size of it, if anything.
I think they just.
I just think this is the worst COD for maps, in my opinion.
Alright, well this is excellent then, because I am on the opposite end. I think this is the best map design they've ever had in any Call of Duty.
Oh, we got
a bit of opposite ends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we go. A bit of a debate. I'm probably on. I'm in the middle of it all. Like, I don't think they're too bad. I'm just
Classic.
yeah, just
Classic.
in the middle. But seriously, I don't think they're too bad, but I don't think they're too good. I think there's room for a lot of improvement, and I think they gotta go back to the way things were back in Black Ops 2, for example, like with the maps. Instead of giving us reskinned maps on day and night, try and focus more on the
Yeah.
maps and shit and making them. This game is meant for wackiness, like in the map department. That is, make really cool, wacky maps, and
Yeah.
all that, and that's what it's missing. But I want to hear yours two debate. Actually, I want to hear you two go at it on why and why not. Do you think it is the best and isn't the best for maps?
Well, I don't really know where to start, because there's a lot to talk about when you talk about map balance. Crikey. Where to start? Fuck.
I just think these maps are not designed for newcomers or the old OG players.
Oh wait, no, you think they are designed for newcomers. You think they're not. Yeah, right, okay. For a second I was like, wait.
Yeah, they're designed for newcomers, I should say. They're designed for newcomers and not for the old school Call of Duty players.
Okay. Yeah, again, I'm at odds with that. I think that the maps are, for the most part, designed for better Call of Duty players. Maybe not older Call of Duty players, because obviously the style of maps has changed a lot, but I definitely think the majority of maps are made for better. I mean, there's obviously going to be exceptions to that rule, like Crash. I fucking hate Crash. The spawning system with Crash and just, everything about it is awful. Same with Shipment. And what another map? Rust. Rust is pretty bad. So obviously there's exceptions to that. I think that those maps appeal... Oh, God. Well, I don't really know what they appeal to, because the spawning's so fucking awful that you'll just spawn in and die straight away. So I don't know if anyone actually likes that. And if they do, they probably need to go see a psychiatrist, because there's something wrong with them. But, yeah. No, I feel like the maps... they allow for a lot more skill expression, because there's a lot more cover. There's a lot more... It still is essentially 3-lane maps. But if you contrast them, for example, with Black Ops 4, one of the issues with Black Ops 4 that I had was that all of the maps were 3-lane, but they were corridors. And so there was maybe one piece of cover in that corridor, or there was a midsection in that corridor, and then it was just one long sightline for the rest, and that was it. That was the majority of the maps. In this one, I feel like the corridors, or the areas, or the lanes, you want to call them, whatever, they're broken up into more sequential gameplay, and so you can't just run through the map, because there's a good chance that someone's going to be waiting for you as you go through the map, and so you have to be ready to tackle that. That's my opinion.
I mean, wow, I don't think AJ can come at that one.
I
mean,
he can. I mean, obviously there's points and counterpoints in there. No, but that's what I'm saying about the old OG players. Like, years ago, like Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, what was it? You ever played Black Ops 1 online? Like Black Ops 2, like, it was all just run and gun. It was all just run and gun back then. No one cared about the KD, no one gave two fucks about the stats. And now everyone's worried about their KD, score per minute, shit like that.
Honestly, I've got something to say. Do you think...
Yeah.
No, you finish.
I just think there are too many fucking windows in this game, and doorways.
I mean, yeah, that is another thing they've introduced, is the ability to be able to open and close doors and mount. But I was thinking of it just then, actually, when you said about the old Call of Duties, AJ. Do you think the games have gotten worse, in a way, as technology has progressed? Because back in the day, they didn't have to worry about all the fine details as much, because the graphics weren't as good. So they put their focus on...
No, they weren't. I don't think it's gotten worse. I just think the past 3 years they've gotten really lazy.
Yeah, I can see that.
They release games knowing that there's bugs in it, and yet they still release it anyway, going, oh, you know what, next update we'll fix something like this, for example. There's an issue, they fix it, something else pops up. Or it's like a classic example, one person has got like the bug glitch, like I was telling you guys with my EMP plane thing. I've got problems with it. I guarantee if any of you guys have got it, you may not have the issue, but as soon as my version is fixed, someone else's would be playing up. Just like Season 2 last year with me and Coon. Coon couldn't use one bit of his, the recon drone, it wouldn't tag, mine would. His was fixed, mine wouldn't track.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an extension of the engine they're using as well, unfortunately, is that they don't want to have to... Again, I mean, I know I keep saying this to AJ, but they don't want to spend any money on anything. And so instead of spending like an investment amount of money on building a new engine and, like taking a couple of years to develop it first and then like actually using it on a Call of Duty game, which would be phenomenal, they'd much rather just constantly patch up this very old engine, which was made fucking I don't know how many decades ago, probably in the 1910s for all we know. And that's only going to cause more and more issues, right? Because as you patch something, the more bugs will come. The more simple your code is, the less bugs that will occur. If you have, like, 50 billion lines of code, your program probably won't even run, because there's so many things that are going to interlace, that have to take priority, that have to run efficiently, so they have to take up a certain amount of GPU or CPU, whether you're running this on, your computer or just your console. There's so many things that you have to consider with an engine, and they're just constantly laying code after code after code onto this engine. Eventually it's just going to crap out, and it just won't work. I mean, AJ's seen the worst of it. Not even the worst, actually. He's seen a part of it where it can just fuck up completely, and parts of the game, they just don't work, right? And it means that your experience of the game is completely ruined, because part of the game that should work, because it's a AAA game, it just simply doesn't. And it's nothing that, is natural. It's not like it should be happening. This is the top end of the market. We're paying top end for this, product. We shouldn't be experiencing something that we would expect from indie developers that are just, putting their code in and hoping it works, and, trial and error stuff. We don't want trial and error from a top of the market game. We want it to be polished and ready to be sold when we buy it, so that we can pick it up and play it without any problems. Instead, we're ending up being test monkeys for the game, so they don't have to pay people to test it for them. Which, that was a considerable chunk of change for you to divulge, but yeah.
So I've never paid so much money for a game that's so buggy.
Yeah, I know. Like, holy shit. Even Skyrim didn't have this many bugs sometimes. Like, Black Ops 4, when that launched, that was a fucking disaster, dude. That should have been, they should have recalled all the copies and, issued refunds. That was embarrassingly bad.
Thing is, it's up to Infinity Ward. It's the people higher up.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet, no, it's probably as simple as, if you won't release it, then we'll fire and we'll find someone else who will.
Exactly.
It's probably that situation.
Do you reckon they're just in it for the money nowadays, though? They're not doing it
Yep.
for
100%.
for the fans.
I
They're
think
not doing it for the game. They're just doing it for the money.
I think Bandahar was thrown under the bus.
Yep.
I really do.
He was. Yeah.
I mean, that poor cunt had death threats against him and his family.
Who was that? Sorry.
David Vonderhaar.
Is he
from BO4.
Oh, yep.
Lead creator for... I don't know if it was creator. I don't know what he was. I think it was...
Pretty sure he done Black Ops 2. I'm not quite sure about Black Ops 1. Yeah, I think he done... Oh, he was part of Treyarch.
Yeah.
Is he the one that came back to do it again, or was that a different guy?
That was Black Ops 4, yeah.
Yeah. So... Yeah.
So yeah,
he got thrown under the bus. Yeah, he had death threats with him and his family. Like, I dislike the game in certain parts, but I would not go that far to threaten someone.
No, well, it's a game. Like, it's technology. It's no one's fault.
But Josie Cotton, on the other hand, when people were saying about the lag and all that, and he turned around and said, "Get better internet," I just lost it then. It's like, yeah, well, I wouldn't even make death threats to you. I'd just personally slit your throat. Get a better throat. No, but that's just it. Like, the NBN in Australia is completely fucked.
Yeah.
Like, we're third worst in the world.
Are we actually?
Yeah, we're behind a lot of third world countries in terms of internet speed. I don't think we're third worst in the world. I think we're third worst in the developed world.
Yeah.
And that also puts us behind some third world countries, which, like...
Laughable.
I mean, yeah, that's just like... I can't even believe I'm saying that. It's just so weird that I have to say that. We're behind third world countries in terms of a basic household staple.
But then when you put Australia up for sale, what do you expect?
Yeah. Unfortunately. So, yeah. The future of gaming doesn't look good for Australia.
Nah.
Or the world.
Would you
future
prefer Would you prefer online games where you can play with friends or single player games?
Nah, single player games all the way.
I can honestly say the last time I've ever got fucked off was Dark Souls or Sekiro.
So do you reckon...
I've never been so pissed off with Call of Duty. I got annoyed with like BO4, but I've never ever got screwed out of a game because of lag.
What would you guys... If you guys could make any other game multiplayer and online, what game would that be?
Fuck.
I would make a car racing game, make a battle royale.
What, Demolition Derby?
Nah, just like one big fuck off race.
That could be fun.
For me, there was a Alien versus Predator game that came out in 2007, and at the time, I think it might have had the best graphics on the planet. And the sad thing is that it still is one of the best looking games I've ever played to date. And considering it was made in 2007, that's something. And the game was phenomenal. It had a great campaign. You could play as an alien, a predator, or a human. And they all had their own individual campaign that you would go through different parts of, the world, and you would experience entirely different things for each playthrough, but they would sort of interlace. And so the human story would back onto the alien story, and the alien story would back onto the predator story, and the predator story in some ways would back onto the human story. It was just great fun, but the online was pretty bad. It was literally just bare bones online, some players are aliens. As you go through the match, there's a timer, and if the aliens kill a human, then the human's an alien, and then it was just basically a big game of Infected was the most popular. And,
but more terrifying.
More terrifying. Oh, yeah, Jesus Christ. When you've got, like, that heart rate monitor thing on you from the Predator series, that shit's scary. That is very scary to play with. So, yeah, I would have liked to have seen that.
I got a fair bit into survival, and, yeah, you heard that big growl and you realise it's one of the fucking alien elites.
Not so keen on facing that. Might just put my controller down and go for a walk. Yeah, that sounds nice. Get some sunshine. Breathe. Deal with my panic attack. Yeah, that sounds nice.
That's actually
Sorry?
Like Nightmare mode, there was nothing better than that one Marine kicking your ass and you end up fucking putting him on the ground and get one of those face huggers on him. It's like, yeah, fucking take that.
Yeah.
I hope 5 of them burst out of your chest.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. God. Oh, but did you manage to complete the Alien campaign on Nightmare?
Yeah, I finished it all.
I couldn't fucking do it, dude. I gave up. That shit was insanely difficult.
Mate, the Predator one fucked me off.
See, I felt like the Predator one was the easiest one, simply because some of the gadgets were a bit abusable. Oh, well, I guess you don't get some of them until later on, so yeah, I can see how that would be more difficult, actually. Yo, in the meantime, we should be in a game. What's going on?
Well, I'm about to go out for a smoke.
What?
Okay.
AJ just went out for a smoke.
Yeah, I nearly finished mine.
Zach. Alright, Zach, you go out for a smoke now, and then while AJ's coming back in, you can sit outside. Wait, can you talk to us at the same time?
Yeah, I can talk to you while I'm having a smoke.
Oh, you just gotta be quiet. Alright.
I'm just gonna go outside now.
What about you, Zach? What game would you make multiplayer?
Actually, while I'm up, I'll have a look at that for you. I'll go into my good Game Arnie cabinet.
See, even like the Doom franchise is starting to get into the multiplayer act.
And see, I don't know if I blame game developers or the market, because the market at the moment, they love multiplayer games. And they're so accessible, so it's like, how else do you compete with that without doing multiplayer? I don't know if it's possible.
Oh, there's a couple of games that I've brought that were quite internet only, just for the campaign. Not even like online, just offline. Yeah.
I've got a game actually that used to be multiplayer, but is no longer multiplayer. Assassin's Creed.
Ah, yeah.
I didn't much like the online, but it gave another aspect to the game.
Yeah.
Like, instead of once you finish the campaign, instead of just running around and assassinating people, you could play online with your mates, and that was actually a cool little thing to do on that game.
Riveting.
Smashing.
You just sounded very unenthusiastic. So. Yeah.
I'm having a smoke. What more do you want from me?
My alimony? That might be one step.
But nah, like... Okay, here's another topic. What movies would you turn into games? Like, if you got a chance to make a movie, like I know World War Z did it, Warcraft has kind of done the opposite, where they've made a game turned into a movie. So what movie would you want to see turned into a game?
I don't know.
Or TV show, isn't that matter?
I'd definitely be looking at some Matrix games that give you more choice. Because in a lot of the Matrix games that exist, it's kind of like you pick a character that pre-exists, their story pre-exists, stuff like that. And I know that the Matrix is like a set universe, but it would be interesting to explore the universe through an entirely new perspective in an entirely fresh character rather than someone we've seen before. I feel like that would be interesting.
Yeah. Did you guys ever own a PS2?
Yep.
I think we all did.
Yeah. Remember seeing the game Jaws Unleashed?
I don't.
You guys don't?
I do.
Did you ever play it, AJ?
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it. I actually preferred the movie.
See, that's... I reckon they should make more shark games, as well as zombie games and all that. Like, if they could make...
But then I can say the same about Resident Evil. The movies were good in their own way, but the fact they tried to cohere it with the game, they fucked that up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's actually a good franchise to talk about, Resident Evil. I mean, how many games have they had now? Fucking...
Oh, some of them really good. The others, I would say, what was it? Operation Raccoon City. That was
good, in my opinion.
Yeah, Resident Evil 6, very fucking repetitive.
What about Resident Evil 5? I know we were talking about that yesterday or the day before, AJ.
I would put that, my personal opinion, I wouldn't put it in the absolute great category, but I wouldn't put it as an average category. Like, it was good-ish.
I mean, wasn't their first two-player Resident Evil game, was it?
Yeah, it was the first online co-op.
Oh, was it their first?
I just think they should have done the AI a lot better. And more intelligent. Then again, I was the crazy cunt to complete professional with a bot.
What about you, Travis? Did you play any of the Resident Evil games?
Nah.
I
was a weird one. I didn't play anything that anyone else played. I played basically only games that very few people have played. So I played stuff like the very first SSX.
I've never heard of that game.
Yeah.
Is that the snowboard one?
Yeah, it's pretty decent snowboarding game. So much fun. Oh my god, I spent countless hours on that. I
What are your
also
thoughts on
played
World of
something
Warcraft?
called Me.
All of us.
Never played it.
Probably a good game, but I think that the medium's a bit outdated. Subscription games are getting phased out, and they're being replaced by opt-in game models. So subscriptions, not going to survive for too much longer. But yeah, it's probably a good game. Probably. Is that a good enough answer for you, Zach?
Oh, mate, it's a problem. I was more growing up. I was more of the nerdy kid. Actually, I played a lot of World of Warcraft, Dungeons and Dragons,
Really?
and StarCraft and stuff like that.
Okay. Oh, you played StarCraft. Oh, dude, I have fond memories of StarCraft as well. But it was weird because I didn't have probably the same experience as you. I had a weird cracked Korean version.
Oh.
And so it meant that whoever had the game originally had played like thousands of hours on it, because the bots, they would adapt over time to what you did online. So the bots would slowly learn how to, use specific units or advance faster or do stuff like that. The AI on this version of StarCraft was so fucking good, it was crazy. And so it was always fun to go against the AI because they were always a challenge 100% of the time, and I would lose the majority of my games. But that just like pushed me further to like, I have to beat them. I have to, outdo these bots. I have to beat them. And when I finally did, or whenever I did, it was like euphoria.
Yeah.
But yeah, I doubt you had that same experience. I didn't even play online. I just played against the bots because that was like enough.
You did.
Yeah.
What about you?
Or did you have the exact same experience, Zach?
No, I didn't. I played I just played single player and stuff. What about you, AJ? Like, what games did you play growing up that was a bit different?
Sledstorm on PS1.
Ooh.
Sledstorm, Driver, the very first Driver. Still to this day, the graphics are still pretty good.
Yeah. Anyone else play
even on
awkward silence again? Did anyone else play Skate 3?
Yeah. It was okay.
I mean, it was fun. I think they need more wacky games like that, though. Alright, well,
let's do this. What
anyone else?
do you guys want to do? You know what? I want to try to capture the flag. Anyway.
Let's go, I'm keen. Alright, let me set up a comp class. Holy shit, let's go.
Alright, well, is that going to end our first ever podcast?
Maybe. Oh, was that a podcast? I wasn't even paying attention. I thought we were just having a chat.
Yeah, same.
Felt
Thanks,
very
Zach.
natural.
Oh, welcome. Yeah, well, I reckon that was our first proper decent chat we've ever had.
what was that? You're like, yeah, it was a good chat. Yeah, it was fun, guys. I had fun talking. Yeah, it was yeah, cool.
I just went out for a smoke, so I've got a lot of phlegm in my mouth.
Oh, do you, Zach?
Horse cum.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good to end this. Good to end this fucking stream on a nice laugh.
Oh shit!
But Zach is fulfilling his Jackass 2 moments.
Holy shit!
Alright, well, thank you guys to whoever has tuned into this podcast, and leave your comments down below on what you thought. And if you guys have any suggestions on what we should talk about, if you guys have any opinions on any other game or this game in particular, let us all know. I think Travis is going to be starting YouTube soon again.
No comment.
He's very easily convinced, so I'll get him there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed.
You convinced me.
Hope you guys enjoyed my first ever podcast, or our first ever podcast, and we'll be back to do another one later on in the future. Alright, take care guys, and Yeah.